We're going to talk softball coming up next here on Locked On Sooners. What seed did Oklahoma get? What was the reaction of some of their opponents? We'll discuss coming up next here on Locked On Sooners.
You are Locked On Sooners, your daily podcast on the Oklahoma Sooners. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Once again, thank you for making Locked On Sooners your first listen every single day. Shout out to all the everydayers out there tuning in, subscribe to the show wherever you get your podcasts. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. The Oklahoma Sooners are co-SEC champions. Womp, womp, womp. I mean, it's fine. Like, it is what it is. It's the SEC's problem. Shout out to Texas A&M, a really, really great team. It would have been really fun to see those teams go head-to-head because they didn't play during the regular season. So this was going to be our first opportunity to see A&M, who a lot of people think is the best team in college softball. They did get the number 1 overall seed in the NCAA tournament. Oklahoma gets the number 2 seed. They will welcome Boston University, Cal University, as well as Omaha. So
Omaha.
So, I mean, Cal, a solid program. Boston, a solid mid-major program. So very intriguing. Oklahoma should advance out of their regional. Like, it'd be shocking to see them lose a game in their regional, but some stranger things have happened. But hey, they got to the SEC tournament final with a dramatic walk-off win over Arkansas. Became the first team in the SEC or in softball tournament history to win a game when down by 5 runs.
Yes.
And they
SEC.
did it. Yeah. Okay. SEC history. They did it by hitting 6 home runs. Also an NCAA SEC tournament record. Just absolutely electric. Gabby Garcia, the true freshman, hits the 3-run bomb to send them to the final and get that win over Arkansas. It's huge, man.
Yeah, a lot of SEC folks got to learn about Sooner Magic and how it just magically populates right at the most critical moments, and it sets records. Yeah, I understand. It's so funny. I love seeing when media pundits talk about it, especially those that are fans of like schools like the Texas Shorthorns or whatnot. And it's like, it's infuriating every single time the Sooner Magic populates, because it always does. It's a very common thing, and yeah, they pulled that out to get that win. I think what baffled me with this is I totally understand that Oklahoma and Texas A&M did not play each other, but Oklahoma won the regular season SEC championship with the best record in conference. Does that not amount for much when it comes to this? And then when it came to the seeding, everyone stated that it was A&M 1A, Oklahoma 1B. Why would it not be flipped, especially the fact that Oklahoma's coming off of 4 straight national championships? Are we just gonna, I mean, truth be told, a lot of people consider this a quote-unquote down year, but they still finished with the best record in the country on a down year. I know Sooner fans are complaining about the 7 losses because we just don't appreciate good things. We're just horrible when it comes to that. We don't understand that things can be a process, and it's okay for it to be a process and grow underneath. But I don't understand the seeding of Oklahoma being not the number 1 overall seed when they finished with the best record in conference, and if I believe also in the country. That should amount for something.
Yeah, I'll just say this. I think it probably goes back to that last weekend of the regular season. Texas A&M takes 2 of 3 from Tennessee. Oklahoma loses 2 of 3 to Florida, and probably a little bit more weight gets put on what happens during the regular season than the tournament. I think we see the same thing happen in basketball, right? Where, they hand out a regular season conference title. They also hand out a tournament title. And you see this all the time, like, especially like back in the ACC power days where, okay, Duke or North Carolina might have won the regular season title, but got upset in the semifinal or the championship game by Maryland, or, the Duke North Carolina thing went back and forth, and they won the regular season title, won the conference title, but they might have given a little bit more weight to the regular season title in the NCAA tournament seedings. And I think that's all it is. Ultimately, it comes down to go win your games and just take care of business. Is this the best Oklahoma Sooners team that we've seen in this last 5 years? It may not be, but it's still a really, really, really good team. That's one of the best teams in college softball, and it's going to have a chance to go win another national title. It's crazy to think that, given all the talent that they lost off of last year's squad, the Kinsey Hansons, Jada Colemans, Tiara Jennings, Kelly Maxwell, Alyssa Brito, Elena Torres, Riley Boone, Nicole May. I mean, the list goes on and on and on, all that talent that they lost. But Patty Gasso did a great job in the portal, bringing in Ailana Agbayani, Abigail Dayton, Sam Landry, obviously. Isabella Smith has had some good moments. Really, it's going to come down to their pitching. And I think what's been encouraging over the SEC tournament, and really dating back to that last weekend against Florida, even though they lost 2 of 3, has been the performance of Audrey Lowry. You know, after that inning that she had against Texas, where they put her in up 8-0, and Texas proceeded to tie the game, getting all 8 runs back without Lowry recording an out. Well, then she went and she threw 5 innings of scoreless ball against Florida, in 2 appearances against Florida, and then an appearance against Arkansas, and didn't allow a run. She allowed just 3 hits. Against Arkansas, she threw it was like an inning and 2/3 and didn't allow a hit against a really, really good Arkansas team that might have been one of the hottest teams in college softball. So that's really, really encouraging. If you can get that performance out of her, or something similar to that, in the NCAA tournament, that's going to give you a good chance to win, because you can't rely on Sam Landry every single game. You're going to have to get some secondary pitching. But this team has proven offensively that they're good enough to still hit with some of the best. Now you just got to get some secondary pitching beyond Sam Landry. And I think if Audrey Lowry can keep this going, she seems to have found her groove. If she can keep this going, that's going to give them a great chance.
Yeah, that's the good thing, is you're starting to see some of the young players step up. They're getting their bearings. They've gotten it this entire season, and they're coming in very clutch moments. I mean, the 6 runs to close out and go into the SEC championship game, to me, was probably a big testament of how Patty Gasso has got these young players ramping up their game. Now, the question is, what's the pitching going to look like here in the tournament? You can't use one arm. So the question is, who's going to step up and be confident enough to help push this team through not only the regionals and super regionals, but actually in Oklahoma City?
Yeah. Also, shout out to Sydney Barker. She had 2 home runs in that game against Arkansas.
Yeah.
Like, you got to get the back half of your lineup hitting. And if they're doing that, they're providing a little punch, a little power, that's going to go a long way for what Oklahoma wants to do. Against Omaha, Cal, and Boston, it's going to be important for Patty Gasso to have to only use Sam Landry maybe one time. If she can do that, if they can get through it where, hey, we only had to use Sam once, maybe twice in the weekend, that'd be huge, because you don't want to overextend her, because when you get to the super regional, where there's a good chance you face either Alabama or Virginia Tech, that's going to be a tough matchup. And remember, you lost the season series to Alabama. They're a good team. Virginia Tech is a really, really good ball club. You're going to need Sam Landry at her freshest. So the little you can use Sam Landry, the better. If you can get up big in some of these games and get a run rule or 2, that would be huge. And be able to use, the rest of your pitching staff, that would be so important for what this team's trying to do. Any other thoughts on softball before we get out of here, Jay?
I can't wait for the regionals. I'm trying to figure out a way to get out there to Friday to one of the matches and get my cheer on. So let's go. It's
Sooner Magic time. It's one of the best months. It's one of the best months in the sports calendar. I'm just going to say, like, the softball tournament is, to me, it's right up there with March Madness. I think with the energy and the excitement that you're seeing all across the country, and yes, the regional hosts advance at a very, very, very high percentage of the time, but you do get an upset here and there. And so that'll be fun to watch and see which team can pull off an upset in their regional and advance to a super regional, because the super regionals are also just just electric sports.
Yeah.
So that's going to do it for today's episode of Locked On Sooners. Thanks so much for tuning in, being a part of the show. Subscribe to the show wherever you get your podcasts. We're free and available on all podcast platforms and on YouTube. So hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell to let you know when new episodes drop. Follow Jay at Unfair Sports. Go check out his channel on YouTube, Unfair Sports, over there as well. You can follow me at John9Williams and read my work covering the Sooners over at SoonersWire.com. The show is at Locked On Sooners on all of your favorite social media platforms. But until next time, he's Jay Smith. I'm John Williams. We'll talk to you then. Boomer
Sooner.